This is West African Voice Network.
Hello and thank you for joining us on Newswave on West African Voice Network. I am Fatima Ibrahim. Let's begin in Nigeria as community in Plateau State mourns after midnight attack leaves dozens dead. A late-night assault on the ZK community in Bazaar, Plateau State has left over 40 people dead and nearly 1,000 residents displaced. The attack, which took place around midnight on Monday, lasted for close to 2 hours, according to several eyewitnesses. The violence has deepened fears among locals, many of whom have already faced similar incidents in recent weeks. Joseph Chudu Yupa, spokesperson for the Iregwe Youth Movement, confirmed the death toll and said many survivors are receiving treatment at Just University Teaching Hospital and other nearby facilities. Police spokesperson Alfred Alubo acknowledged the incident, noting that a detailed report on the casualties is still being compiled and a public statement will follow once more information is verified. This is not the first tragedy to hit the ZK community. More than 20 people were reportedly killed in previous attacks leading up to the latest incident. Local residents are appealing for urgent government intervention despite recent visits from top officials including Nigeria's Army Chief of Staff Olufemi Oluyede and the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, both of whom assure the public of improved safety. Communities in Plateau State continue to grapple with persistent violence. Authorities are investigating the attack as calls for stronger security presence grow louder across the state. Remaining in Nigeria, U.S. court orders FBI, DEA to release records on Nigerian president's alleged drug investigation. The U.S. federal judge has ruled that the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Drug Enforcement Administration must release documents related to past investigations involving Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and a suspected drug trafficking network from the early 1990s. Judge Beryl Howell of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia issued the ruling on April 8th in response to multiple Freedom of Information Act requests filed by Aaron Greenspan, founder of the legal transparency platform Plainsight. Greenspan's request, made between 2022 and 2023, sought information about a drug ring that operated in Chicago and included inquiries into Tinubu and 3 other individuals, Lee Andrew Edwards, Moise Adeboye Konde, and Abiodun Agbele. Previously, the FBI and DEA declined to confirm or deny the existence of related records, a tactic known as a GLOMA response. However, the court ruled this approach invalid in this case, stating that public interest outweighed any claimed privacy concerns. Meanwhile, the Nigerian presidency has dismissed the concerns over the judgment by the U.S. federal court, asserting that the document contained no new revelations about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Nigerian leader, who assumed office in May 2023, has consistently denied any wrongdoing regarding the decade-old allegations. We move to Senegal, where Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko unveils major reforms, targets justice system and corruption. Senegalese Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko on Monday presented a bold reform agenda before the National Assembly, setting the tone for a new era in institutional, judicial, and social governance. During the question session, Sonko revealed plans to introduce 4 key bills touching on transparency, anti-corruption, and access to public information. The session, however, was marked by political tension as some opposition lawmakers, including members of the Tako Walu group linked to former President Macky Sall, boycotted the meeting. Their protest followed complaints of procedural violations and alleged disregard for opposition voices by National Assembly President Malik Ndiaye. In his response to lawmakers' questions, Sonko criticized the state of Senegal's judiciary, accusing past magistrates of manipulation and pointing to a lingering deep state. He stressed the need for swift and transparent justice, arguing that justice delayed is justice denied, and reaffirmed that judicial independence must operate within constitutional limits. Among the proposed legislative changes are reforms to the National Office for the Fight Against Fraud and Corruption, a new whistleblower protection law, legislation granting public access to government information, and a law mandating asset declaration for public officials. Addressing the media landscape, Sonko announced a stricter stance on misinformation, but reaffirmed government's commitment to freedom of expression within legal boundaries. And away from that, Ghana's capital Accra faces imminent health crisis as landfills overflow. Authorities in Ghana's capital capital, Accra, are sounding the alarm over a looming health crisis as all major landfill sites within the capital have reached their limit, raising serious concerns about a potential outbreak of diseases like cholera and typhoid. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly, AMA, raised the alarm during a briefing with Parliament Sanitation and Water Resources Committee, which recently visited assemblies in the Greater Accra region. Engineer Solomon Nwai, AMA's Director of Waste Management, painted a grim picture of the current waste disposal situation. He attributed the crisis to a lack of engineered landfill site and inadequate waste infrastructure. Nwai warned that delays in establishing more secure waste treatment systems could spark a major public health emergency. He explained that without engineered facilities, rainwater causes polluted liquid from waste to seep into nearby water sources, potentially contaminating water supplies across Accra. In addition, he raised the issue of improper handling of medical and sanitary waste. To prevent a full-scale outbreak, Mr. Nwai called for the establishment of a state-of-the-art intermediate waste treatment facility. He suggested that such a plant featuring incineration technology could effectively eliminate harmful pathogens from non-recyclable materials like diapers and medical waste before disposal. And with that, we've come to the end of Newswave on West African Voice Network. For more news from across the region and beyond, visit wavn.org. You can also stay connected with us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at WAVN News, and on TikTok and YouTube at West African Voice Network. I am Fatima Ibrahim. Thank you for listening.